Welcome to Two Psychics. This is Michael Edley, evidential medium and mystic, discussing all things spiritual.
Hello, I'm Mary Amy of Two Psychics, an intuitive wisdom coach, tapping into your mystical life and sharing messages I receive about you.
Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing? This is Michael Edley, evidential medium. What is up, Mary Amy? I am doing this from my computer, so
Hi, how are you?
sure. I am good. How are you doing?
This is going to be very interesting. I'm excited. This is going to be so much fun. Wow, we're 1 week away. I just did a YouTube. I'm not a YouTube. I just did a TikTok, and I said, "Hey, watch us on YouTube," because now it's live on YouTube, which is super exciting. And I hope we get some comments from everyone. I hope you tell us, what's going on. Oh yeah, wait till there's a comment, because then we have that. All right, so we're live right now, everybody out there, for Two Psychics podcast coming from the East Coast. I'm Mary Amy. I'm an intuitive wisdom coach, and tonight is episode 86. It's March 26th, 2026, and here we are. Tonight we have a guest, Brent Michael Phillips, and he's an MIT graduate. And he's a master healer, technologist, and he is the author of some best-selling books. We'll tell you about him in a little bit. And I just wanted to find out what's new, Michael Edley.
I'm trying to track this. Everything on my end is a little delayed, so it's just looking a little weird till I get used to doing this from the computer. So I apologize if I appear to be delayed. But I've been doing well, doing a lot of private readings, small group readings. So that's been keeping me pretty busy. Looking forward to our event coming up very shortly. We're a week away now?
Yeah, it's a week from tonight. There you are. Your face is really close.
Yes.
So sit back a little bit.
Let me sit back. I have to adjust. I have to get used to this.
Yeah. It's a good to get used to. It's good.
Yeah.
It'll be good. It'll be great, because we want to stream on all these platforms. In fact, I'm going to add a few. It's exciting. So it's at the Manor Club in Pelham, New York, and you can meet us, and it's going to be a live event. And we planned out the whole thing, and there's tickets, and we're in a theater. It's going to be really exciting. We're even going to have afterwards a meet and greet. We're going to have questions, and we've been preparing for this. We've done some live events, and I'm going to be giving psychic readings. Michael's going to do a whole hour of mediumship readings. Maybe you'll get a chance to speak to your loved ones. Maybe you'll hear about angels, or I'll tell you about what's going on in your life, and you can ask me a question, past, present, or future, and we'll call you up from the audience. It might be a little exciting for you, some hidden truths, and I'll be doing a visualization. So it's been a little bit of a stressful week for me. I've had some very strange paranormal occurrences in my life, and I have had a couple of extraterrestrials reach back out to me, and they're a reminder to finish my book, because I've been more or less focused on creating this event and promoting it. And I'm in Westchester, New York. Michael's down the Jersey Shore, and so I want to get as many people as possible to come meet us in person. And please write a comment, because we do have some viewers right now. So write a comment, and tell us, Michael, anything that happened to you, and I'll edit some of the paranormal experiences so I don't tell too much. I can't hear you. Oh no, volume. Your microphone's off. Your microphone was off. Now it's off again.
All right, hang on. Wait.
Now it's unmuted.
Can you hear me now?
Muted. Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting used. Everything is in a different spot right now. I have to get used to it.
Don't touch the microphone, because there's no feedback.
No. Okay.
I'll fix it if he comes up. Up. Here we go. We got a comment. Can't wait to come to the event. Suzanne. She's coming to the live event. She can't wait.
It is going to be a fun night for everyone. I'm looking forward to it. Everyone can see what we do in person. We're going to take everyone through group meditation. We're going to talk about psychic abilities. We're going to take you through some psychic exercises to show you that you are psychic and you can tap into this just like we do. So that's going to be a fun exercise we get to take the whole group through. I'm looking forward to hearing Mary do some psychic readings, and then I will be doing the mediumship gallery, and then we'll be wrapping it up with some Q&A. So we're gonna cover a lot in a 2.5 hour period. It's going to be a very eventful night, and you do not want to miss it.
Yeah. I am looking forward to it's a whole other media, and it's exciting because you get the feel for the audience, and it radiates through readings, and they're more powerful, and we're more connected to other dimensions. And who knows what could happen. I've found that people that have experienced psychic readings live, they eventually or recently after have dreams, some kind of dream or
Mhm.
change in their life. It helps bring them closer to themselves. And we are going to talk about psychic readings and how you too can bring your psychic abilities forward, because everyone has at least one clear sense that they can master, possibly three, maybe all of them. And it's a little unnerving initially because you don't understand it, but if you have some kind of courage and a brave side to you, maybe you'll endure some of what goes on. And it might be a supernatural event that happens to you, or an awakening, or something paranormal. And I'm curious about our guest this evening. What kind of intuitive guy is he? Is he someone who is learning about ESP? Is this because he is a healer? So he is receiving something otherworldly to be a healer, or he's tapping into another dimension.
Yeah, I'm curious to know if he's approaching this, from an energy frequency and vibration standpoint. So there's a lot of natural healing can occur through frequency. That's what we're starting to see. And ancient cultures would tap into this and utilize this. They're even talking about the Great Pyramids being being chambered and tuned to certain frequency.
Yeah. There's talking about a lot of things about the Great Pyramids, because they've mentioned that there's something underneath the ground that is
Yeah.
right. There's
Hmm.
pillars or columns underneath the ground,
Yeah.
and it's actually a either communication, or it's an energy field.
Yeah, I heard it was an energy field, so that's interesting, and it can basically permeate up, and it would radiate out and create some type of electric magnetic current. So that's pretty interesting.
So apparently he's written 6 books. So I'm looking forward. He's coming on in 20 minutes. Um, did you want to talk about any of your upcoming events before we bring him out, and I'll talk about who he is? I know you have one. You have a one with
Yeah, so
a
there,
energy healer.
yeah, so there's a few things going on. So we have our event going on at the Pelham Manor Theater. So that's on April 2nd. So we'll be doing that, Pelham, New York. Tickets are available on all our social media. Then following that on the 18th, I'll be taking everyone through a group meditation that's going to open and tune the chakra system. And I'm going to start talking about psychic abilities and how we can all start incorporating those into our daily lives, how we can start tuning into those. Some we'll be touching base on a lot of that at the Pelham Manor event also, which is going to be really cool. And then Mary Amy and I also on the 18th will have a booth. We'll be bringing any kind of questions you may have for us. If you want to talk to us in person, we will be there at the Bloom Women's Wellness and Health Expo, and that's in Wayne, New Jersey at the Wayne Powell. Let's see. Then I'm doing a smaller, more intimate mediumship gallery at Whole Body Wellness. That's in Forked River, New Jersey on Friday the 24th, I believe that is. And if you go on
Mhm.
to any of my
Yeah.
social media, it'll be on there. And then after that, I believe it's the 29th, I have a psychic night down here at Captain's Inn down here at the Jersey Shore. So a couple events going on.
Yeah, your event on the 24th is at 6:30 with Hannah
Yes.
Mary at Manahawk in New Jersey.
Yes. Yep.
So I'm going to say some shout outs because we have some of our friends coming. We have Grace is going to be coming to the event.
Excellent.
And yeah, and I know that we have some of our viewers that have been joining us every week. They're coming to our event.
Mhm.
And so today I want to tell you everyone, I spoke to this regressive hypnotherapist, Albert Crimmy, who we had a few weeks ago on our show. And he's going to be in New York during the summer. And we were talking about going and getting some kind of session with him, which is past life regression. And I had a lengthy conversation with him today. He's very personable and very warm. And I'm excited to meet him and do this. So you can do a session with him. And I'm gonna say a little promotion right now because he's a fascinating guy. Now he does these in person. He does not do them video chat. That's why I'm saying anyone in the tri-state area that's interested in him, if you want to reach out to him, he's going to be in New York over the summer. And Michael and I think, are going to meet up with him. And I have a couple of my other friends who are also going to meet up with him. And it's a chance to have an experience with someone and go back into your past life, and you feel safe doing it. Now, I've been hypnotized before, going back, maybe it could have been 30 years, more than 30 years ago. And you really have to be with someone that you trust. So I'm recommending that. Now, also, if you come to our live event, you're going to meet some other mediums and psychics. So you'll get a chance to meet people that are also maybe an individual that you're interested in doing a session with, or like Grace is going to be there, and she has her show, which Michael, I just saw. I just saw your interview with her.
Yes. Yeah, that was what, a couple weeks back. She just aired it, and yeah, I thought it was great. Yeah, Grace. What was it? Grace, Gina, and John. Yeah, they were fantastic. Had a good time with them.
Yeah, they are. They get something out of you. They have the questions like bing, 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 bing,
Mhm.
and then there's,
Yeah.
and it's not like you can think about it. They're just asking you, and you're doing it. And now, did you give readings?
I did. The funny thing is, we didn't anticipate doing readings live, so they didn't videotape that whole segment. And Grace was like, "Mike, is there anything coming through, or just out of curiosity, are you getting anything?" And obviously, when I'm doing an interview or something like that, I'm tuning into the energy of the situation. So of course, certain things are starting to come through, and we actually had such crazy information come through for them that I wish we had it all recorded. So much so
Oh,
that a few things came through for Gina's mom. Her father stepped in, and I didn't know anything about any of them. And so it was funny when some of their loved ones came through, and I wish we had it recorded. I think they want to do another episode where I'm doing some readings with them and some of their listeners, because we weren't able to capture that. So hopefully we'll have that some point over the next couple months. But it was good. Yeah, so I actually read for Grace, for Gina, and for John, and
nice.
it was very interesting. Gina sent me a big message, which was really nice, talking about several things that had unfolded that week after, that kind of helped her mom navigate a situation, which was really cool. You don't always get that feedback, and you don't always hear that. She was able to almost, within a week, tell me, "That's kind of crazy, but this is what you said, and this is what happened from it." So yeah, it was very interesting.
So lately, I have to say that I've been delving more into my consciousness and below this physical level in in other environments. So it's not just privately I'm doing it. Sometimes I'll just trigger it, like I'll go for a walk and things will come to me, and I'll start to either remote view someplace, which it like I don't even know where this is coming from. It just pops into my head. Or I'm tapping into like another level of energy. And I think that because of some of our guests and because of our relationship, and I'm whether or not it's through technology, I'm still receiving energy, and it's making my abilities more powerful. And the reason why I'm saying that is because anyone out there that's listening or watching our show, I can say that the more that you pursue something otherworldly, something paranormal, something supernatural, then the more it's like you're asking for it, the universe will bring it to you. So if you would like to have more experiences, I suggest you come to a live event, either Michael or someone else's, and or do some research, read a book, meditate. Like meditation is so helpful, and a lot of it is about just breathing, embracing breathing. I know Michael says before he does readings, he does a whole meditation, don't you, Michael? Can you explain some of what you do before you do readings?
Yeah, before going into any situation, whether it's a day of one-on-one readings, a small group, or a larger event, I'll always wait. When I wake up, I start to ground my energy and I just start to feel my energetic body. And I want to sit with that energy because in a session where I'm utilizing my body almost as a compass, I have to be really, really tuned in. And that starts with breath work. So, kind of holding that breath in. Sometimes you can do it very staccato. And for those of you that don't know staccato, you can do like a chop breath. You hold that, slowly exhale. And when you're exhaling, you want to try to release everything and just get all that residual air out of your lungs, kind of completely, fully deplete and release that. And as you're releasing that, you can envision that energy also traveling throughout the bottom of your feet back into Mother Earth. So you're grounding your energy. You're starting to bring that balance and harmony internally through your chakra system. And then you're starting to open and become a little more aware of the external energies. And this way, by initially grounding your own energy and becoming very mindful of your own energy, it's going to be a lot more. I would say it's a lot easier to then start differentiating what energy is not yours, so you're not absorbing it in a session, because you have to remove the emotions out of the reading. That's one of the things to bring clarity for your mediumship. It's kind of stepping aside and just allowing yourself to be the conduit. So grounding and lifting your vibration, that's kind of the 1-2 fundamental things that really have to be established first.
When you say lifting your vibration, how do you do that? For everyone
So
out there, what does that mean?
yeah, okay. So two things. So grounding, breath work and ground, and kind of envisioning your energetic roots going back into the ground, back into Mother Earth, just stabilizing and grounding your energy. And for me, I try to think of just moments in time that were very joyous, moments in time that I was really happy, whether that was on stage, whether that was sitting on the beach. And I just bring myself to these mental pictures and I start feeling that energy and I just expand and I try to feel my auric field just start to radiate and kind of go outward and expand. And as it's doing that, I feel like I'm lifting my energy towards the heavens, and I'm trying to think of things that fill my heart with happiness, with joy, and I hold that, and kind of that mindset, and just appreciating those things, and trying to go into those emotions, and then releasing those emotions. It helps you kind of balance out your energy field amongst all the energy you're going to be connecting with. So an easy way to do it, music. If too, you can have like my meditation album. I'll do a shameless plug if you could see
Do it.
So
Closer so I can see it.
Hemi sings. Yes, yes.
Hold it
All
up,
right.
Michael. Hold it up so we can see it.
Wait. Let me hold it close. Hang on. I have
Yeah,
all
there.
this new lighting and all stuff here, so it has me discombobulated. But Divine Journey of a Mystic Soul on all streaming platforms.
I'll find it.
Do you have one? Your camera's probably more
right now.
clear
You keep
than mine.
talking. I'm gonna find mine.
Find that wonderful CD, Divine Journey of a Mystic Soul.
I
But
have it because I have so many files of things. I
So
know I have.
grounding your energy and lifting your vibration is the basis of how you want to go into doing a reading, how I want to go into a session, how I want to go into a
Oh,
gallery. Grounding my energy, I'm raising my vibration, and then I want to bring everyone to this collective energetic connection where we all connect, we're all blending our energy, trying to blend on a soul level, and that's going to be the easiest thing to help me tune into my collective and your collective to bring through that energy, wisdom, guidance, those pieces of knowledge that I don't know. So any session that you're going into, the more open you can be, the more grounded you are, the easier it's going to be for that psychic or that medium or that healer to connect to your energy and allow that energy to flow. And that's
okay,
what it's
so
about.
here it
Ah, there
is.
we go. There we go. You can see it much better on your camera.
Yeah, on mine. So it's beautiful. You can buy it. Where do you buy this, Michael? Remind me. At your website?
Yeah, so I can send you a copy, or you could just go to any streaming platform and you can download it, and it's very inexpensive per song. Some of it's free, some of it's probably when you get a certain plan, or if you already are streaming on like Spotify or any of those places, it's there. So you can just get it with your normal streaming platform.
Okay, so he's going to come out any minute. So let me talk about him and just write down the description that I have about him. And he can explain it better, probably. But so this is Michael. I'm sorry, I keep saying that because you're Michael.
Mm,
Brent
yes.
Michael Phillips, MIT graduate, master healer, technologist, and author. And from his bio, he says, my own journey is a big part of why this work resonates. After graduating from MIT and creating the world's first 3D massively multiplayer online game, a devastating health crisis and a deep personal betrayal caused me to lose everything. And I explained that to you earlier, Michael. My health, career, and future, years of conventional and alternative treatments failed until a single energy healing session changed my life completely. That experience led me to develop Awakening Dynamics, a system that now has supported more than 1,900 documented instant healings and profound personal transformations. Along the way, I've written 6 books, including 2 #1 bestsellers, Living Proof and Thought Leaders Business Expert Forum at Harvard Business School. Okay, his website is I know, awakening-dynamics.com. And it's on the description here. So he's going to be coming out, and we're going to talk to him about bridging quantum science and spiritual awakening and awakening dynamics, the 3 pillars that rewire reality. He doesn't know it yet, but those are what we've decided. So that's going to be fun. This is who he is right here. And so we just are going to wait for him for a second. And all right, everyone out there, what are some basics of ESP? Before he comes out, I'm just going to remind everyone. So what I do, and not everyone is going to get there the same way. Michael just explained some of what he does, and I loved it, loved it, loved it. So if you want to recap that, you can listen back to this video. So what do I do? Well, I say that it starts with you. It starts with connecting to you. It's about embracing you, trusting, having self-willingness to do this, confidence, pushing away any doubt because you're not going to get any proof. Initially, when you do anything related to psychic abilities, unless you have a receiver and they're transmitting information to you, a sender and a receiver, unless they're sending information to you and you can ask them, is this what you were thinking, or this is who you are, you're not going to get any proof. So what do I do to start with? Well, I've mentioned to everyone in the past, what I do is I put all my weight in my bottom, I put my feet on the ground, and this is for practicing. I let go of the breath. Now I turn off all the technology because that's going to give you electromagnetic waves. And we're just going to be all natural here. So we're going to put all our weight in our bottom. We're going to put our weight on the base of our spine, our root chakra. We're going to imagine that our feet are going down into the earth. The base of our spine is going down into the earth. And we're calming down our system, our blood pressure, our heart rate. And we are going to wiggle our toes in the earth. And we're going to move our body around a little bit so that we're more relaxed. Our neck, our head, our torso. We're going to let all our tension that we have, that we carry around in through our arms, out of our fingertips. And we're going to let go of a breath. And we're going to remind ourselves to have gratitude for this moment. And all of the energy lies in this moment. Time and space is right here. This is where everything is. This is where our consciousness is. This is where the light is in this moment. It's not in the past. It's not in the future. Really, there's no such thing. It's all right here. This is where we create. And so we're going to really focus on breathing. And we're not going to go deeply into that because I know Brett's coming on. Up, and there he is. So we're going to tune into our heart. And we're going to ask ourselves, how am I feeling? And this is how we're connecting to ourselves, our life, our heart. And usually I have a one-word answer that I come up with. And I'm going to give a moment here, and everyone's going to ask themselves, how am I feeling? And I received calm. I'm calm and content. And that's kind of where you want to be. Now, if you say, oh, I'm aggravated, oh, I'm angry, then you want to ask yourself, why? Why? You don't have to go out here and search for answers. It's all right here. You're going to say why. So that's the first step, because we want to connect to ourselves. Okay, so Brent is here. I've already given a description of who he is, and we're going to bring him on. It's very exciting. Everyone out there, we hope you like this video, and please write a comment, and we will present it. Hi, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Hey, Brent, how are you?
So I'm Mary Amy. This is Michael Edley. I'm an intuitive wisdom coach, and Michael is an evidential medium. Where are you coming from tonight?
I'm in Las Vegas.
Oh, nice.
And we are having a heat wave. So it was like 97 degrees today.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's 30 something here today and went up to 49.
Oh, see, we had it pretty nice at the Jersey Shore here. I think we hit lower 70s, so we're getting a little bit of that Nevada here. But how are you, Brett? So it's a pleasure speaking with you. I think one of the things that fascinates us about you and your background, we're almost seeing this hybrid connection between spirituality and scientific study. And I think a lot of what you do, you kind of delve or walk the line trying to bridge that gap and trying to find similarities or synchronicities that can bring them both together that maybe aren't the similarities are there. Maybe that is an underlying thing that's always been there that we're getting back to. So can you share a little bit about your journey, what you do, and talk a little bit about bridging that gap of spirituality and science?
Yeah. So, I'll try to give a short answer to what I do. Then I'll talk about how I got here, because that was the really dramatic part. I like to think of myself as a sort of metaphysical engineer. In particular, I work with people to show them how to use the power of the mind. A lot of work with the subconscious, manifesting, intuition, energy healing, and also just, really deep internal evaluation of how do we process our relationship to the space around us. How do things affect us? How much do we suffer? What do we think we are? And really, I see it as my job is to be a kind of lighthouse. That my job is to help everyone I work with get to where they're going faster, easily, more safely, and with less expense than they could otherwise. And what I've found is most of us, almost all the problems in our lives are self-inflicted. Almost all of them. And I want to show people that most of us can't see our own issues. And my goal is to just hold up a mirror to people and go, hey, this is what's going on in your life. If you want a different result, make this change. But again, a lot of it is working with the power of the mind, a lot of subconscious reprogramming, entrainment meditations, things like that. And my whole thing is really simple, that I want to bring the rigor of science and engineering to the world of woo-woo, to intuition and energy healing and angel readings and all that. And so I'm very much a no-nonsense kind of person. I'm all about results from what works. And I see healing as more of a technology than anything. Is it spiritual? Sort of, but everything is spiritual in a way. The whole universe is one source. And so my job is really, scientists have done a pretty good job of articulating what we call the physical laws of the universe, such as Newton and Einstein and the law of gravity, Maxwell's and electromagnetism. And basically, by understanding the laws, we can then build technology to use them to our advantage. So we figured out electricity. Now we light our homes and run microwaves and all these great things, right? I want to bring an understanding of the metaphysical laws and how we can understand and use them as technology too. So things like the law of attraction, the law of cause and effect, the law of equivalent exchange. So it's really, it's a simple process of, do you want to use technology to make your life better? If you don't, that's okay, right? But if you want to use technology to make your life better, I would love to help. Because I found some really cool technology that almost nobody knows about. And it's funny that I say that, because had you told me 30 years ago that I would be a professional energy healer and a spiritual teacher and write books about the subconscious mind, I would have laughed you out of the room. That would have seemed completely crazy, because my background was 100% science and engineering. It was funny that when I went to college at MIT, I discovered the internet, which, I got there in the 1980s. No one had heard of the internet, right? And I decided this is going to be my thing. And my original career path was I wanted to be a video game developer, because I grew up playing video games. I loved Pac-Man and Donkey Kong and all the classic video games growing up. I wanted to make video games. And so I went to MIT, got my bachelor's degree, my master's degree. I was working on my PhD, and that's when the internet boom hit. And I'm like, wow, this is going to be my gold rush, right? And long story short, I left MIT. I recruited my lifelong best friend, and we formed 2 internet companies. This was in 1995, right at the start of the internet boom. One to make websites, one to make video games. And it's funny, the website company, this is such a hilarious true fact. The very first website I ever built in my entire life was the website for the launch of the Sony PlayStation. That was our first contract in summer of 1995. How cool is that? And then we created really the first of, today we call them MOGs, or massively multiplayer online games, like World of Warcraft. I created the very first graphical 3D MOG in the 90s called Underlight. And I really thought I was going to be a superstar. But to make a long story very short, I had a couple years into the startups, I was pushing myself, working 80, 90, 100 hours a week, and my body broke down. I had a massive health crisis. And I spent a lot of time in physical therapy. But long story short, I had permanently and severely damaged my body by pushing too hard. And I had terrible chronic pain. I could barely work. And my best friend and business partner hung in there with me for a year or two. But it all turned one day after a couple of years of therapy. I wasn't getting any better. And I was in a lot of pain. And I didn't know what to do, because we needed to finish the video game. We had website projects. There was all this work to be done, right? But I had an appointment to see the head doctor at the Kerlin Job Clinic, which is one of the top physical therapy clinics in the world. And I thought, wow, I'm finally going to have a solution, right? I've had this terrible chronic pain for like 2 years now. I can barely work. Please fix me, doctor. And so I went in to see the doctor. And I remember he looked at my charts and medical records. And he just looked up at me and closed everything and said, I'm sorry, son, nothing I or any doctor can do here. You're never going to be able to work, and you're never going to be out of pain. And he recommended me for lifetime disability when I was still in my 20s. And when I told my best friend and business partner, he said, I thought he'd be all hanging there, Brent, we'll get through it together, something like that, right? He was like, sorry, if you can't work anymore, you have no place here. So I got fired from the positions at the companies I had founded. He forged documents and sold the website company for millions of dollars. And I was left broke and in incurable chronic pain, being told by the best doctors that I would never be able to work again and I had no chance of recovery. And I found out a little later, the reason he pulled all that was he had been secretly dating the woman that I was in love with, and it started seeing. And he just saw the thing with the doctor as an excuse to get rid of me. And that was really devastating because I lost my health, my career, I lost all my money, I lost my education, I lost the woman I was in love with, and I lost my lifelong best friend. So I don't want to dwell on it, but it's difficult to put into words how devastating that was, especially at such a young age. But I didn't give up completely because I had a friend of mine turn me on to positive thinking. And he said, hey, Brent, when life's really got you down like this, we need to turn to positive thinking, right? And this was back in the 90s. We called it positive thinking. Nowadays, of course, we call it the law of attraction, all the same stuff, right? So for about 6 months there, I became this positive thinking warrior. I put power words on my walls. I said my mantras 108 times every day. I went to my mastermind. I forced myself to think positive and, was somehow expecting miracles to occur. And nothing changed. So after about 6 months of that, I decided positive thinking doesn't work and gave up on that. Then I got into alternative medicine, which was really exciting at first because the way I grew up, my parents were just kind of like, oh, alternative medicine, that's like for hippies or people that are too dumb to go to a real doctor, right? So I had never seriously considered it. But I had a bunch of people say, hey, Brent, give it a shot. You got nothing to lose, right? Try acupuncture, see if it helps. And so long story short, I spent the next 5 years living with my parents, running up a gigantic credit card debt, doing alternative medicine. I was doing everything I could to try to get better. Acupuncture, herbs, cleanses, magnets, detoxes, supplements, meditations, Reiki healing. I mean, chi machines, vibration machines, all this crazy stuff. And I go on for hours about all the things I tried, right? But after 5 years of treatment, here's what's so crazy. I didn't get better. I just got worse. And no one could explain it. Because everyone I worked with had all these great success stories, right? But no one could help me. And just as an aside, I learned a lot of years later, part of what was going on was I had chronic Lyme disease and I was suffering from chemical poisoning from aspartame. And I had no idea at the time. But that wasn't everything, but that was part of why all these treatments didn't help. There was just something so systemic, so basic wrong in me, nothing could help. And when I say I tried acupuncture, I don't mean I had 3 sessions. When I say I tried acupuncture, what I mean is I went out and did research and found the best Chinese doctor in town. And I saw him 2 or 3 times a week for 2 years. So when I say I tried acupuncture, I mean, I spent like 2 years and 20 grand on it, right? But nothing made a difference. And it all came to a head shortly after that because my parents got divorced and I had nowhere to live. And so now I'm renting this, crappy little apartment, taking cash advances on my credit card, which is, by the way, terrible financial strategy, right? But I had no other option because my disability benefit barely covered my rent. So I was just going deeper into the hole every month. And I didn't know what to do. And I had been approached by a doctor who was doing a special research study. And he had an experimental surgery and knew one of my physical therapists, and she had recommended me to him. So I went and met him, and he thought I was a great candidate, and I was accepted into the study. And I was going to have an experimental surgery on my elbow that he thought could help relieve some of my pain. And so sounded like a great deal, right? Wouldn't cost me anything because it was a research study. I just had to show up and maybe it would solve my life. So anyhow, I went and had the surgery. And let's just say, if it had cured me of all my pain and I lived happily ever after, I probably wouldn't be here right now, would I, on this show? No, the surgery was a disaster. And when I woke up, my right arm was paralyzed at the elbow. So that was kind of rock bottom. Again, long story, very short. It was paralyzed for 5 months. I tried all sorts of splints and manipulations and machines and all these things. Nothing made any difference. Then I went to this crazy healer lady. Her name was Terry. And honestly, I didn't think Terry could help me because I had done other kinds of energy healing before. I had Reiki healing a couple times, and I had someone do pranic healing once. And I kind of thought energy healing kind of woo-woo. I'm not sure it does anything, right? But she was a friend of my Aunt Lauren, and Lauren insisted. So I went to go see Terry, and she talked to me about the power of the subconscious. And she basically said, Brent, yeah, your life's been a disaster because you're chock full of subconscious blocks and you don't know it. And I was like, interesting theory, but it's a little too convenient, right? So anyhow, we had a session, and she did this subconscious clearing process with me, clearing the blocks. And at the end of the session, she's like, okay, let's heal your arm. And I'm thinking, you and what army, right? My arm had been like that for 5 months. I'd had manipulations under anesthesia. I had had dynasplints. I had had a CP. I had done all these things. Nothing, my arm wouldn't go. And anyhow, Terry's like, let me try. I'm like, sure, whatever. And here's the crazy thing. When she was doing this whole process, it's all done with the mind. I was sitting across the room from her the whole time. There was no touching on the body, nothing you take, nothing like that. All done with the mind. And she kind of closed her eyes and went into a trance. And it was about 30 seconds later, there was this loud pop in my elbow. And it was so loud, it stunned me. I was like, whoa. And Terry must have heard it because I remember she opened her eyes and she's like, let's try your arm. And I did. And honestly, I could not believe it. I could move my arm again. And that was the miracle that turned this very skeptical, grounded scientist and engineer into someone who, at that moment, I dedicated my life to understanding energy healing and intuition and the law of attraction and all that cool stuff. But again, my goal is to bring some rigor to it. It's not just do a magic recipe and hope it works. That's how when I learned this stuff, that's how it was almost all taught. Here's my little magic formula. Try it. Hope it works. If it doesn't work, too bad. Try to do something else. I'm not like that. I'm like, okay, let's study and analyze the problem, find the core, what's really going on, make an adjustment, and then everything should work. Why? That's what they taught me at MIT. That's what engineers do. And so in terms of how this affected me, it was, enormous, totally life-changing. Because one, I had just experienced a miracle. Basically proof that magic is real. That on its own would be life-changing. Second, I got my arm back. That was on a very practical level, life-changing. Now I could floss my teeth, right? Now I could cook food. You have no idea when you only have one arm, how many things you can't do. Anyone that's curious, try it sometime. Tape one of your arms in your pocket all day. It's a lot harder than you think. It really is.
Yeah.
But number three, it also gave me a new career. And I want to be honest about this because I don't want people to get the wrong message. It's not like I went and saw Terry and then my life was perfect after that. Right? It wasn't a fairy tale. This isn't a movie. What did happen was my right arm, I had not been able to move for 5 months after the surgery. That part instantly healed. Never gave me trouble again. But here's the thing. All the chronic pain and long-term injuries and illnesses I had that led me to have the surgery, none of that healed in an hour. That took a lot more work. And it was measured in months and years. But after a few years of work, I was able to reduce my pain significantly. I was able to come off disability. I was able to start a company, start doing healing professionally. At some point I started dating and exercising, and I kind of got my life back. And it was really incredible. I remember that when I first started working with Terry, my mother was concerned I had joined a cult. Because I had talked to my mom, like, Mom, it was incredible. I had this miracle. I went to this healer and I can move my arm, and oh my God, my life's going to change. And I'm going to all this stuff, right? My mom's like, oh God, you joined a cult. But then it was so funny. After I did the training with Terry and I learned how to do healing, I remember I went to go see my mom, and she had an issue her whole life. She had polio when she was 4 years old. And she was paralyzed for months. And she had a lot of lingering damage from it, including what they call post-polio syndrome. Very common in people of that generation. And I was visiting her, and she was complaining a lot about it. And I remember thinking, oh yeah, Terry taught me a specific technique for post-polio syndrome. And I said to my mom, I want to do this technique on you. And she's like, sure, whatever, right? And she woke up the next day, her pain was down 90%. And that's what made her a believer.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. There were more miracles later, but that was the one that changed her mind. Yeah. And then I remember the next time I saw her and Terry, my mom went over and hugged Terry, crying, saying, thank you for giving my son his life back. So I thought that was pretty sweet. But yeah, and what I would say is that, again, I'm sure a lot of the people teaching healing and such in the world, many have some great talent or gift, or maybe there's some special chosen one. I don't know. I'm not like that. I'm just a regular person. But I'm someone that studied with great teachers. I learned all these great systems and processes of healing and nutrition and intuition and mind power and spirituality and all this cool stuff. And I didn't invent this stuff. Other people have done that. But what I did was I brought it together. I synthesized it. I made it easy to use. Think about the difference between like the old punch card computers in the 1960s versus like the first Apple Macintosh. Why was the Apple Macintosh or the Apple PC such a big deal? It took this really difficult, arcane technology and made it easy for people. And it changed the world. And that's what I want to do. That a lot of energy healing and manifesting and intuition is kind of arcane and mystical and very touchy-feely woo-woo. I want to get rid of all that and go, this is how it works, ABC. There is math, there is logic, there are laws. Doesn't matter if you're building a bridge or a spaceship or healing someone. It's all math, logic, frequency, and we're all one. And that's why today, my goal is to turn this into technology to make it easy for people to use. That's all.
Building a spaceship. I like that.
Well, it's interesting though. You had to go through this to find your own healing, and sometimes in our own desperation to heal, we're gonna just find this internal, that internal passion, that internal energy that's gonna carry us through anything until we get the answer. So I think out of your own desperation for healing, you were truly able to go to a point of researching and probably trial and error and really getting to the truth of what's going on with this. And
you're exactly right. And I'll admit this, that you'll think this is kind of funny. True story. After I had the first miracle with Terry, I'm like, I want to be a healer. I thought learning healing would be easy. Why? I was a superstar in school. Valedictorian, National Merit Scholar, straight A's at MIT. I go on and on, right? I was off the charts. I was terrible at it. I couldn't do it at all. Why was it that this highly trained super genius who had straight A's at MIT couldn't learn healing? I'll tell you, but you can probably guess.
Well, you were definitely coming at it from too much of the analytical mind, allowing the ego to infiltrate, and had to let that go.
I was doing it all from mind and ego. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
And so I was a terrible student at healing. Because most of the other, like when Terry learned it, she went to a seminar, they said, imagine this and do that, and angels appear and there's lights and people heal. Great, right? When I did it, I didn't get any of that. So I was very frustrated at first because I couldn't do this the way other people could. But here's what I did. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do what I know how to do. I reverse engineered the masters. And that's why what you said is 100% dead on. I thought it would take me 6 months when I started this journey in early 2004. Like, I'm going to find the best teachers, take all the seminars, read their books, learn everything, right? I thought it might take me 6 months. It took 11 years, but I did it. It just took a lot longer than I thought. But I went to all these incredible teachers and systems, and I learned what they had to teach. And I slowly figured out what they were doing, exactly like you said. I took a lot of notes, observations, looked for patterns, and little by little, over months and years, I figured it out. I'm like, oh, this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. And this, again, this is what I say, this is just technology. And I'll just give one little piece of it right now. Again, this is not the whole deal. This is just one little piece. A lot of people don't realize that if you're doing healing or manifesting or intuitive work, if you're running a beta brainwave, it's nearly impossible. You're too much in your head. There's too much noise. Your connection isn't pure enough. You have to get yourself to a theta brainwave. And that takes specific practice and technique. That's something that can be measured with the machine. So it's not just you have to be connected to God. I mean, that's true, but it's very abstract, if you see what I mean, right? How do you measure how connected you are to God? I don't know how to do that. But you can put a machine on your head that measures your brainwaves. I do know how to do that. So using the evidence and the measurements, I figured out a lot of what they were doing. And I put together a system to make it easy. To take systems that are often very complex and arcane and difficult and make them really easy. Good metaphor would be, have you ever had to drive a car with a hand crank starter? I hope not, but your grandparents probably did, right? Your great grandparents maybe. Why, back in the old days, that's how you started a car. And a lot of people got broken arms and broken legs starting their cars. This is a historical fact. Then we invented technology to do it for us, called the electric starter motor. Now, when you start your car, you just push a button, don't you? That's my point. Something that used to be difficult and took skill and was dangerous, now we just push a button, you don't even have to get out. In that, what I do is not fundamentally different than other healers. I just have a different approach. That we're all clearing patterns in the subconscious, right? We're all re-embodying with life force. We're all trying to get beyond the tyranny of the ego to experience oneness. My thing is just, I want to build a little better mousetrap. Again, I was not born as some great talent, but I did for healing and meditation and manifesting and intuition what others have done to optimize the industry. So for example, I'll sometimes say, I'm like the Japanese of energy healing. Why? The Japanese did not invent the auto industry. No, that came from Europe and the United States. But they learned it and they mastered it. They created a better process for producing cars than the rest of the world had. And that's kind of what I've done with healing. If you go in, there's many different modalities that work on the basis that we have subconscious blocks, and we go find them and clear them, and then your life can improve. And that's part of what I do. You can do that with NLP. You can do that with Psych K. You can do that with theta healing. You can do that with emotion code or healing codes, or you probably name 50 other modalities. My point is, what I do isn't fundamentally different than them. And just like you get a Chevy or a Mercedes or a Toyota, they're all basically the same technology, aren't they? They're all cars. But some are more technologically developed than others. So do you want to ride around in a Model T from 1917 that you have to hand crank to start, that has no windows, no air conditioner, no power, anything, that can only go 13 miles an hour? I don't think so. You want like a modern Porsche or something, don't you? It's fast, it's comfortable, it's easy to drive, it has a great stereo, right? It impresses your friends, it can go on the freeway. It's just, the difference is just technology. And what I want people to hear is Certainly, I'm not the right teacher for everyone. There's no one teacher that's inherently best. That's silly. It's a matter of how well aligned you are with someone, right? And for those that are sort of intellectually curious, you want to know how stuff works, you need to approach it with your mind. I'm a wonderful teacher because that's exactly how I learned this stuff. I had to approach it with my mind, step by step, piece by piece. And if you really want to deconstruct yourself, and the way I see it is, my education and background is in software engineering. I never stopped being a software engineer. I just changed mediums, like an artist that goes from being a painter to being a sculptor. MIT taught me how to program electronic computers. Terry taught me how to program people. It's the exact same principles for both. It's the same thing.
So Brent, you went to this woman, Terry, and then she healed your elbow or your arm. And then the rest of it, you have worked with, you said, or researched and learned from the best.
Yes.
And then put together, all of it together, all this research, and came up with your own system.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Okay, is this system you explaining? Is it books? Is it a video? Or is it what is
it's a full system.
The system. Pardon me?
It's a full formal system. We have 5 levels of trainings with extensive documentations, manuals, videos, as well as a significant number of facilitated exercises. And people learn it either in live trainings or get the videos and do it on their own, which is more common nowadays. And I run live sessions 2 or 3 times a week for people to get together, to ask questions, to practice and apply and use this, which is huge. I call it, we're kind of like a dojo that we get together. If you want to learn karate, you got to find a dojo and go train, don't you? One weekend seminar will not teach you karate. You got to go like 2-3 times a week for a couple of years, right? Same thing with energy healing. So I provide not only the training, but also the environment for people who actually want to learn this. So generally people get the trainings, go through some of it on their own, join the groups, and then it's all hands-on. And my thing is pretty simple. I don't expect anyone to believe anything I'm saying. Please don't. Please see everything I'm saying as a possibility. And if you're curious, have your own experience. Don't let me decide what's real for you. You try this. See for yourself how it works. It'd be like trying a new food. How do you know you don't love it till you try it, right? Same thing with this technology. It's something most people don't even know exists. I would love for people to try it. There's so many benefits because it's a rewiring from the inside out. Oh, just one piece of it, one tiny little piece, we can knock out most allergies in 15 minutes. It's not 100%, but for a lot of people, that's like day one. We've already changed your life. Then we'll teach you how to clean your space, how to bless your food. We'll show you how to clear blocks, how to do group healings the right way. And again, there is a technology and process to all of this. That, it is engineering in the sense that there are ways to create healing and manifestation that work in ways that don't. Just like there's certain ways of building a house that work and a lot of ways that don't. Or an airplane, right? People tried for thousands of years before we figured it out. There's certain ways to build an airplane that work and they fly. A lot of other ways that don't, they crash. My thing is simple. I've spent over 2 decades experimenting and figuring out what works and what doesn't. I would love to share that with you.
So back to your story, you had then gone on. So you had this chronic pain.
Yep.
When did that reverse itself and go away?
It was very slow. I'd say after my first session, when my elbow healed, 0 difference in the chronic pain, 0. It really took about 2 years before I noticed a real difference. And I'd say it took me about 5 years. I reduced my pain probably 70%, would be an honest number. Didn't go to zero. It'll be nice, but I'm telling the truth. This is real life, right? But it was a lot less than it was. I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, it went from a 7 to a 3. With level 7 pain, there's very little you can do. You're almost crippled. With level 3 pain, it's inconvenient, but you can exercise, you can drive a car, you can hold a job, you can still live your life. And that's why I say Tara gave me my life back. And you're exactly right when you said I had to be desperate. Yes. I did not embrace healing because I believed in it. I did not embrace healing because of some desire to fix the world. I embraced healing because I had no other options. I tried everything else. And when you try everything except the crazy thing, what do? You try the crazy thing, right? And I tried the crazy thing and it worked. And it's, the benefits are so vast that one way I would look at it is if you look at our educational system, that it doesn't teach us a lot of important things about life, does it? No. We learn, math and basic history and all that, and that's great. There's a place for academic knowledge. But no one trains us on how to be human, on how to move our body properly. When you were 4 years old, who taught you about posture? No one taught me anything. How much were you taught in preschool about the power of your imagination? You're probably done the opposite. You're probably scolded for using your imagination, right? And what I want to offer people with Awakening Dynamics, of course, part of it is a little technical. This is how you clear a block. This is how you do an instant healing. This is how you do a future reading. So there's a lot of that. Those simple processes, boom, boom, boom. But really what it's about is becoming a better version of yourself. Learning to inhabit this body and this mind. It has all these great abilities that you probably didn't know about. Like simple one, probably both of you and most of your audience knows about muscle testing, right? Mm-hmm. That's huge. Your body has this innate intelligence. You need to know that and know how to use it. It's really useful, right? That's all I'm trying to say here. That your mind is so much more capable than you realize. You just need to learn how to use it right. That's all. I remember yeah, go ahead.
No. Now, Brent, it seems like you've done a deep dive with many different healing modalities. Mm-hmm. Or what would you say on your journey?
23 years.
Yeah. So on this journey of looking at other healing modalities, what do you feel you took bits and pieces from? Like what were areas where you felt this could be a really positive influence, but it's not exactly where I want it to be? And what were you blending? What techniques were you studying?
I think some of the better ones, I really like the Stoner method. I think there's a lot of really good stuff there. I learned EFT, emotion codes, healing codes are all pretty cool. Theta healing, I thought was one of the better ones, especially when I took it 20 years ago. UN energetic, Psych K, pretty cool. I learned a lot of pieces out of all of them. Like, again, I'll just pick one at random, one of thousands. One thing I learned in UN energetics, which was so cool, is how to adjust your foot position in the standing muscle test to balance out your natural sway. No one else teaches that. And there's about 3% of people that have a lot of natural sway in their muscle test. And if you don't know how to correct that, they just can't do it. That's what I meant by a lot of teachers are like, do this magic process, hope it works. I'm like, no. We're debugging this like software. We find out this, we try this, we troubleshoot it, we understand the problem, fix it, then it works. But yeah, you're exactly right. Yes.
That's interesting. So you can actually incorporate posture. I'm assuming you're incorporating like the energy meridians of the body. You've probably studied that extensively, looking at, I guess, maybe chiropractic healing, looking at
absolutely
acupuncture. Like, did you take bits and pieces of all this? And it was like, now, how did you start blending in either intuitive mindfulness, the energetic body, psychic abilities? Give us a little bit of insight and guidance around how you started seeing that overlap.
So this is what happened, that Terry and I were jointly developing a new modality of energy healing. And the working title was The Formula for Miracles. And this was like 2005 or 6 to 2012, 13. So for a lot of years. And basically, it was essentially an all-star team of metaphysical techniques. And so, great, best system for block clearing, best system for healing, best system for intuition. Kind of that all worked together. And what happened was we were going to release it in 2013. But then I met Carl Wolf, who was another one of my most important teachers, and I experienced my own real spiritual awakening. And basically, so what happened was, instead of releasing the system, Terry had a stroke and died, sadly. So now it was all on me.
Sorry to hear that.
And so I took all of this and I said, you know what? What I had created with the Formula for Miracles was a wonderful metaphysical toolkit, but there was nothing spiritual about it. It was still very mind and ego directed, if that makes sense. It's like, this is how you clear a block. This is how you clear an allergy. This is how you manifest money, right? But still coming from the mind and ego. When I experienced the real awakening, I knew I had to teach more than just metaphysical techniques for the ego. And so I restarted again and I rewrote the whole thing. Took me 2 years. And that's where awakening dynamics comes from, or ADT, awakening dynamics technique. And it's a synthesis of spirituality and metaphysics. So are there hands-on techniques for clear a block, bless your food, clear an allergy? Yes, step by step. But there's also really deep discussions of what are you? What is consciousness? What is life? What's real? What's not real? What's the real nature of the divine? What happens after we die? What happens before we're born? There are answers to all these questions. Those are the spiritual parts. And I think the most spiritual part of it is simply, as you process your consciousness every day, what's your experience like? Are you struggling? Are you suffering? Are you in pain? Are you having joy? And just know that if you aren't experiencing your life the way you'd like to, you can make adjustments and change that. Just like if you're running software on your computer, if you don't like how it runs, you can hire a coder and have them program it, make it run differently, right? You do the same thing with your life. I just want to show you how to use the tools, show you how to harness the power of your mind, how to harness the intelligence of your body, how to make it work together with, as you said, there's basic aspects too: nutrition, hydration, enough sleep, de-stressing practices. There's practical stuff too. But put it all together, I try to create a one-stop shopping for the new age world. And again, my techniques aren't going to be perfect for everyone. I'll tell you right now, I talk fast, I think fast, I'm obsessed with the truth. And I'm not going to give you a big hug and tell you it's okay. That's just not me. I have friends who do that, right? They're amazing healers in a different way. I'm an engineer. I want to solve the problem. And some people, one of the things my wife likes to say is, do you want a problem or do you want a solution? So if you're not in the place yet where you're ready to tell the truth about your life, see what's really going on. Be wrong about a lot of things you think you know. That was a lot of my journey. God, I used to think I was so smart. Wrong. I was stupid. But we all have to have so much ego and all these things we're attached to. If you're willing to face that truth, you can break through and become free. You really can. You can have less suffering. It's all within our power. Someone just has to show you how to do it.
I'm very curious about how all these books played into your journey. So you have written 6 books, is that correct? And
yes.
You have bestsellers.
Correct.
Can you tell us how that came to be?
Sure. I'll give you a very quick tour of my books.
Oh, nice.
The first 3 are simple. It's a trilogy. The Formula for Miracles, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3.
Mm-hmm.
That was the books. Basically, Part 1 is the book about my journey through healing to how I found Terry and created Awakening Dynamics. Mm-hmm. Part 2 is the science of it, the science of
Mhm.
healing. And
Mhm.
part 3 is sort of the spiritual implications of the metaphysics. So Formula for Miracles is basically, hey, this is how the world works. These are the metaphysical laws. You know, it would be sort of Newton's Principia, but for woo. So those are the first 3.
Do you have
Uh,
do you have any of them that you can hold up?
You know what? I can. I could. You know, I would take it. I have to figure it out in 1 second, but maybe. I just don't want to have dead air while I futz around on my computer for 3 minutes, right?
Oh, you mean you show a picture? Okay, I didn't know if you had
Yeah.
any. Okay.
Oh, I don't have physical copies nearby. I'd have to
Okay.
Yeah. And if you had asked me that 15 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, here you go. But no one prints books anymore, right?
Yeah.
The economics are a disaster. They're basically a giant business card. But anyhow, then when I learned I wanted to write a book about weight loss and cleansing and spiritual work of emotional release for weight loss. So I wrote a book on weight loss with a lot of stuff about how to program the subconscious for weight loss and basic cleansing and holistic health. The next book I wrote was called 7 Steps to Happiness. And that was based on the fact that I most of my adult life, when I was running my healing business, I lived in Los Angeles. And I worked with so many people there that had great lives, but they were still miserable. They had the money, or they had the job, or the spouse, or the cars of all this, and they were still miserable. And so I wrote 7 Steps to Happiness just to reconnect us to some really fundamental principles. To let people understand being happy is not about necessarily making a ton of money or having high status stuff. It might be for some people, right? It's just a choice to enjoy your life, to believe that life happens for you instead of to you, if that makes sense. So it's almost like a kindergarten's guide to being happy the rest of your life. And then I wrote Movement Feedback Holography that we haven't even talked about the advanced work today. But the things I learned from Carl Wolf, it took me 10 years to understand it and another 5 to write a book. But that was Movement Feedback Holography. It's about healing through movement and re-embodiment. And the last book, which I decided not to release as a book, I'm going to do a movie instead because no one reads books anymore. So I'm using AI tools to build what's essentially, imagine a combination of a high fantasy heist with a deep philosophical documentary. So, yeah, we'll just say that for now.
It'll be interesting. That'll definitely be a unique dynamic if you can.
Yes. If you ask me, is it fiction or fiction? I have to say yes. It's both.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say I have a vision and I'm busy building it with AI.
Nice.
So, but yeah, that's an overview of my books. But really, the thing I'm most proud of is the Awakening Dynamic System, because it is a coherent whole training, A to Z. That there's a lot of great systems and teachers out there, but what I found is most of them have like one great idea or breakthrough or discovery, and then a lot of mediocre content to pad it out, to take more time. My goal is to give you just the life-changing.
If someone goes on that journey with you, the that awakening system, what does the process look like for someone that's embarking on that journey? Like where do we start? Is it the feel of the body?
We start with a short self-study training just to teach you the basics with videos and manuals. Then you come join the practice groups and we do the hands-on. So the way it works is we have 5 levels of training. I ask people to do the level 1 before they join the groups. But you just do the level 1, then you join the groups, then it's 99% hands-on from there forward. There's 4 other levels you can fill in at any point when you want more process, deeper, more powerful, faster, more advanced. But that's really all there is to get started. You do the level 1 training. And we even have 2 versions of that. We have a quick start version for people that are like, don't make me read or learn anything. I just want to do it, right? Keep it real short. And then there's the comprehensive training, which is the same material, just in a lot more detail. So you can go through either of those and then come to our groups.
Now
So
it seems like
you're
focusing. Yeah, it seems like you're focusing on mind, body, and spirit. So you're covering all
Yes.
those aspects. Are you breaking that down into different modules? Like we're going through
Yeah,
the
for
body,
sure.
the focus of the physical first. Like, what does
Yeah.
that look like to one of your students?
Yeah. There is some aspect of all of that. A lot of that would be, and this is partly why we do the regular groups every week. I want to give people what they need to move forward. Some people need more content on diet and nutrition to make better meal choices. Okay, I might give that 1 week. Other times it's about hydration or something simple. Other times it's a more esoteric principle. Like the group I did 2 days ago, it was on group healings. I broke down the technology of group healings. There are right ways to do it and wrong ways to do it. And you don't want to do it the wrong way. It can make you worse. And then we did exercises to practice it. So that's what it's like. So basically, you watch some videos to learn the basics, and then you come to the dojo and practice with us. Everything from there forward is hands-on. And my role is simple. I've read thousands of books. I've attended hundreds of seminars. I've listened to, great teachers, speakers, authors, etc. And my role is to show up and see each person as an individual and understand exactly where they are and where they want to go and help them get there. And we have a lot of tools. For some people, they got to clear blocks first. For other people, it might be embodiment. For others, it's too much ego. Others may have to develop their intuition. There's a lot of pieces to it. It would be like being a sports coach. Well, you have a baseball player. There's a lot of pieces to it, right? Swinging the bat, throwing the ball, sliding, running the bases, maintaining your equipment. So my goal is to work with every person, and this is why I keep the group small. A typical group will be anywhere from 3 to 10 people. And, it's like, hey, what do you guys need help with? And then I'm here to give them the piece they need. Because again, I have so many tools that I would overwhelm you if I gave you all the tools. I actually have one student who went through all of my material. It took him 4.5 years. But he read every book, every masterclass, every YouTube video, every manual. He went through all of it. It took him 4.5 years. The reason I do live groups is simple. I don't want you to take 4.5 years to find the answer. I want it to be 4.5 minutes, right? So come to the group. I'm like, okay, this is a piece you need. Work on this. Oh, this is a piece you need. Work on this. No different than if you went to the dojo, right? Sensei may say, hey, you need to work on your side kick. You need to work on your reverse punch. This is how we get better. But it's, I used to do long, grueling seminars like everyone. And I found, what the problem with long, grueling seminars is? They're long and grueling. It sucks. Like, why am I paying money to do something that sucks? So that's why most people do it on demand. You watch 30, 40 minutes a day for a couple of weeks, you got everything. And then again, we do live groups 2-3 times a week. Because you got to practice it, you got to apply it. Just so everyone listening knows, going to a seminar is great. Learning a new technique or system is great. But if you don't actively apply it and drill it and train it into your nervous system, there's going to be almost no long-term benefit, right? Imagine if you went to a guitar seminar, but you never played guitar. After that, would you get much long-term benefit? No. It's nothing personal. It's just how life works, right? So that's why I really emphasize the community, the support, the interaction, the hands-on.
So
Can you talk a little bit of? Oh, no, I'll let you go, Mary.
Let me just ask a question. So you're teaching people how to be healers, and during this process, they're also healing themselves?
Yeah, and it's a great question. About 80% of my audience just wants to heal themselves and their life and their family. They don't want to be a business or do sessions or anything like that. About 15-20% of my students do want to be professionals. So I have tracks for both. I have the full comprehensive track that will train you A to Z on being a healer. You want to be a master healer in 6 months? I know exactly how to make that happen. You just got to show up. I have the technology. I also have what we call the fast track. That's for people that just want to do the work, that aren't interested in all the details or building a business or doing anything like that. So you find both. But most people are just in it to improve their lives. But, it's funny. When I went to Terry, I wasn't expecting to become a professional healer. And look at me now. And I'd say I can name at least 3 or 4 of my top students that when I first met them, they had no idea, no interest in being a professional healer, but that's what they do now. So there are some of us.
So one more
Can you talk
question
about?
follow-up to that. I just have a follow-up.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's pertaining to what you just said. Okay, so if you have someone come to you and then they become a healer.
Yep.
And so do they, like, they're now being a healer based on what you just taught them?
Yep.
And then, but are they going on to also create other healers with your process?
I do have a teacher training for those that are interested, yes.
Okay.
So I can give you the training and certification to go teach people how to be healers. That's the highest level step. But yes, it's there for sure. I have the community, all the trainings, all the materials. Yeah, you just got to show up. Just like, the karate dojo's there, just show up. They'll give you a belt and a gi. Go. Try it, see if you like it. And that's what I encourage everyone. Try it, see if you like it. You may love it. This could totally change your life. You might become one of my most dedicated students. You may not, and that's okay too. Keep trying stuff, right? Listen to more podcasts. Check out someone else. But try it. Is that obviously with a more mainstream audience, everyone will just think we're crazy, right? When I say there is a formula for miracles, I'm serious, people. This is not a joke. This is not a come on. This is real. It'd be like if someone built a helicopter in, 15th century Germany. No one would believe them. It's like, dude, you don't have to believe me. Come for a flight. Get in it, and I will take off. Right?
So
that's what I want you to do. Just try it.
Can you talk about 2 of the most significant energy healing, I guess, processes that you saw? Like, was there a dire circumstance that?
Oh, geez, there's been so many.
Yeah, share a little bit of that with us.
I'll share the 2 that were most personally significant to me, because I have seen well over 1,000 miracles in my clients. All sorts of cancer, diabetes, you name it, all sorts of things. But the 2 biggest to me personally wasn't my elbow. It was number 1 it's funny, they both happened in 2010. The first was my mother was diagnosed with clear cell endometrial cancer, which is a death sentence. And I did one phone healing session with her, and we did a group healing. And when she had the surgery, the doctor couldn't believe it. All the cancer vanished. It was all gone.
Wow.
And that really saved her life. And that was 16 years ago. And now she's 81 years old and still going strong. And they didn't think she'd survive the year. So, but the number 1 is easy. And this was me and Carl. That when my wife was pregnant with our son, she had a silent bleed at 22 weeks. And let me tell you, the most terrifying moment of my life is being woken up in the middle of the night by a pregnant woman covered in blood saying, I need to go to the hospital. But I rushed her to the hospital in the middle of the night. And what the doctors told me privately was they said 50-50 if your wife lives. I don't think we can save your son. That's what they told me. And I called Carl, my teacher at the time, woke his ass up. He came down to the hospital. We did healing with her. And before the doctors wheeled her off. And it was amazing. She had what's called a silent bleed, where there's a tear in the womb and all the fluid leaks out. And typically what happens is then you have to do an emergency C-section or the baby dies. But before the doctors could prep her for surgery, based on the healing we did, again, the doctors couldn't explain it, but somehow her womb sealed itself and filled up with fluid again. And they didn't have to do an emergency C-section. And they both lived. And of course, I will never know what would have happened had I not done healing, right? Just like it's possible that maybe when I saw Terry that first time, maybe if I hadn't seen her, my arm would have just spontaneously healed. I'll never know. But I do know that the doctors told me I was probably going to lose my family. And then Carl got up and came over and we did healing, and she miraculously healed. So that, helping to save the life of my wife and son has got to be number one in my book. Mm. And of course, I can't promise that this kind of thing will happen for other people. What I can show you is I can show you some really powerful teachings and tools that will make life easier. Just like no doctor can promise they can save your life with a surgery. How can you do that? But they have a lot of things they can do to help us. And, again, my thing is simple. I think I've created some great technology here. I would love for people to try it out. See what you think. See if you like it. This could totally change your life. It's possible it won't be your thing, but that's okay. I think that's a small price to pay, huh? You check out 12 things you heard about on a podcast. One of them changes your life. Totally worth it. All 12, isn't it? I think so.
Well, and I think the biggest thing that we see in today society, people are getting treated for symptoms, but they're not getting to the root problem of what's going on. We see so many debilitating, devastating illnesses, ailments that are taking away so much from people's lives. If they can find some non-traditional way to heal, then why not? I would say anyone out there, if they're at their wit's end and they have no other path, why not turn to someone like you? Why not look into energy healing, which we know ancient cultures were so tuned into, and unfortunately our society got away from, and now people like you are bringing it back to the forefront, which I think is amazing. Now, anyone out there that's looking to pursue energy healing, that's looking to research what you're doing and to get a little more information on this, or to take one of your classes, what's going to be the best way for them to find you?
Sure. I would say I'll give two options. For those that want to learn a little more, kick the tires, go to my YouTube channel. I got a couple hundred videos there. Get a sense of my style, my teaching, see if you like it. For those that want to go deeper, that really might want to get into this, learn it, apply it, see the benefits, go to my website at awakeningdynamics.com. And you'll see, just some of the things I have available. For some people, they find exactly what they need right away. If that's you, awesome. I try to make it easy. But I want to make a special offer for anyone. If you're serious about this and you're not sure where to go or what to do or where to start, just contact me through my website. I'll talk to you for free. And, you tell me a little about you, where you're at in your life, where you want to go, and I'll give you my best, most honest answer on which program or path or tool is going to help you the most. Because again, that's where I see a lot of my value. I got dozens of tools.
Who would be your ideal student or client?
I would say men and women equally. My community is about 50-50, which is unusual. I'd say most of us are somewhere between 30 and 70. And a lot of us are just felt a little frustrated in life. Felt life could be more than what we were getting. For some people, it was physical pain or illness. For others, it might be a divorce or career derailment or a financial loss or something like that. But I tend to attract a lot of head cases, smart, intelligent, educated people that just are suffering a lot because no one showed them how life really works. It's really that simple. And remember, I am an engineer. So my whole thing is to analyze it, study it, find the core, and solve the problem. And that can be a little scary. But if you want to really see results, I'm your man. If you want to do woo-woo, I don't mind, just not my thing. No bead curtain, no Buddha statue, no robes, sorry. But what you will get is someone to solve your problem. And ultimately, everything is an inner game. There is no out there. And no matter how many times we hear it, it's difficult to take that in. I've heard that teaching hundreds, if not thousands of times, but it really is true. Everything happening in your life is a reflection of you. You are the source of everything that happens to you. Don't you want to understand that better? Maybe learn to control it, you know? I remember when I first started working with Terry, there was one day I showed up. Terry said, "What do you want to work on?" I said, "Terry, I am the world's worst manifester." And she said, "Brent, why do you say that?" I go, "Well, because look at all the crap I've created. Chronic pain, divorce, lost my career, millions of dollars, my best friend, all the horror I went through, right?" I said, "Terry, clearly I'm a terrible manifester." And you know what she said? She said, "No, Brent, that's not true at all. People that royally screw up their lives are not bad manifestors, because it takes real power to screw up your life that badly. The average person can't do it. People that really screw up their lives like I did are powerful manifestors, but no one showed them how to use their power." Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So if your life's a wreck, that's probably why. You did this to yourself. You just had no idea how you were doing it. That's okay. It's not your fault. I just want to show you. This is what happened, right? This is how it works. You know, it reminds me of there was a tribe in the Amazon, the only group of people that genuinely had never made the connection between sex and pregnancy. They just thought pregnancy was a gift from the gods. Well, you need to learn these things, right? That's what I'm saying. Your mind is powerful. There's serious consequences to using it. Don't you want to know what you're doing? Right? We have to get a license to drive a car. You don't have to have a license to have a mind or a body, do you? But we really should. And that's what I want to teach people. How to use your mind, how to use your body, how it all works. Stop playing the wrong game and maybe you'll stop losing all the time. You know?
Couldn't it be that all of those things that happened to you, you wouldn't have made such a big change and learned if those hadn't happened, and you wouldn't have created this whole system? So it really wasn't a screw up. It was part of your journey to learn this.
Yeah, it all depends on how you see it. I was particularly hard-headed and stubborn, so I had to destroy my life before I could look for an alternative. I want all the listeners to know, you don't have to destroy your life to build back better. You do not. You can. It works. I can attest to that. Right? If you want to destroy your life and then rebuild, that can work. But you don't have to. You can simply make a choice and volunteer for transformation without being forced into a corner first. Does that make sense? And that's what I'm saying to people. Hey, this is good stuff. If you want to have your life wrecked first before you adopt it, okay. But let's just skip over the whole life wrecking part if we can, right? Let me just teach you now. Let's skip the bad part.
That's where you learn the lessons, is the bad part.
Well, it's funny. One of the things they taught us at MIT is classroom lesson. There's two ways that people learn. Number one, you learn from your own mistakes. Number two, you learn from other people's mistakes. So for anyone listening, if you want to go on a multi-year, multi-decade journey, get cancer, go bankrupt, live with chronic pain, get divorced, watch one of your best friends die of a drug overdose, I go on and on with all the horrors I've been through, right? If you want to go do all that on your own to get to where I am, go for it. I ain't going to stand in your way, right? But if you want to learn from all the big mistakes I've made so you get there faster, sooner, easier, that's what I'm here for. Just like when I had the miracle with Terry, I didn't go learn energy healing on my own. I learned from a teacher. Why? They had spent years and decades learning a system, writing it out, right? Yeah. So I'm just here to share technology and knowledge and point people in the right direction. That, every true healer knows I'm not doing anything to you. You are healing yourself. I'm just here to point you in the right direction. Because again, most of us have no idea how to use our minds, our bodies, our feelings. These are all powerful tools. And if you don't know how to use them, you're at a huge disadvantage in life. It's that simple.
It's unfortunate we don't get that owner's manual. The day we're born, it grows
Yeah.
with us.
Exactly.
But no, that's find it very interesting, and I like how you're incorporating that process of mind, body, spirit. You're looking at all aspects and keeping a scientific approach with processes, procedures, and techniques that have been tried and utilized, and they lay the groundwork for for helping someone move forward. Now, anyone out there that's interested in energetic healing, would you say that's kind of the basis of this? I'm dealing with some issue or problem no one else can solve. I want to take on a new outlook. I want to look at this in a new way, and I want to try to heal from an energetic standpoint. Or
Yeah,
where, like, where?
I say the foundational level of awakening dynamics is that
Hmm,
learning to use energy, the power of the mind to heal, right?
yeah.
For sure. The advanced level is a little different. The advanced level is about awakening and embodiment.
Mm,
And the way I would put it is, if we look at the human spiritual journey, most of our world and our culture is in the stage of the victor, where you take action to get what you want, you compete, build a better mousetrap. The foundations of awakening dynamics are built for that, because that's where I have to start with people, because that's where you are, right? Just like if I wanted to teach you to something, I'd have to explain it in English, because that's the common language we have, right? That's how the communication occurs. But yeah, basically, the more advanced levels is not about so much clearing blocks, though there's still some of that. It's about understanding how your body, mind, spirit process is working, and knowing that everything's an inner game. That when someone cuts you off in the freeway and you get angry, they're not making you angry. Your own belief systems are making you angry. Does that make sense?
yeah,
So the
absolutely.
advanced work is about understanding what you are, what consciousness is, and detaching from life. Not leaving it, not escaping it, but detaching. Being in the world, but not of it. But most people don't walk into the advanced work because we have too many wounds we got to heal first. Most of us need healing first, right?
I think this is great for a certain way of learning, because you keep saying the woo woo and this and the and that, that way of being a healer, but this is more through theories, and it's like a learning system. So
Yep.
there are people out there that are not going to understand, like you said, when you tried initially to be a healer, you said it didn't work for you because that's not what worked for you. So you created a system that works for you, and
Yep.
other people like you
Yeah,
can
that's
understand.
exactly right. That's why I say I'm not the right teacher for everyone. But there
Right.
is a section of people out there that I will do great with you. I can reach you and support you in a way that others couldn't,
Right.
for sure. That is, I've done a lot of martial arts. I love martial arts. People ask me, what's the best martial art? Wrong question. Don't pick the style, pick the teacher. Pick the dojo. Pick the person up front. That's who you're learning from, right? And learn whatever style. Once you find the right person for you, learn whatever it is they're teaching. That's what I say. Same with this. If you think I'm the right kind of person for you as a healer and a spiritual coach, let's talk. If so, that's great. I would love to help you. If you're not, that's okay too.
Now,
But
Brett,
pick the
how
person
long
over the style. Pick the person over the style. Sure.
how long does it usually take for someone to start seeing results? Is this within days, within weeks? What
Hours to days for most people.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, a lot of it depends on what kind of result you're looking for. If the only thing you want to change about your life is you want to be an enlightened multi-philanthropist, billionaire guru, that may not happen in the first 3 days.
Mm.
If you're allergic to cats and think it's annoying, that very well could.
Mm.
And it's different for every person. For some, it's a spiritual teaching. They see their life differently. For others, it's a dietary change. I had one client, we did 4 sessions. I went through his whole subconscious, couldn't find any bugs. Turned out he was drinking too much alkaline water, was making himself sick. It was a physical adjustment, right? Took me 4 sessions to figure it out. But he was selling, one of those machines that makes the alkaline water. It's all he drank every day. He made himself so alkaline, he almost died. Pretty crazy, huh?
Oh, wow. Yeah, interesting.
Yep. That's why I say my goal is to just find wherever you need support and provide it.
Yep. Everyone's journey is going to be their own unique journey, but
Yes.
I think it's a great additional aspect that of a tool someone could put in their toolbox if they're wanting to explore a new avenue of healing, or they're at a a dead end with what they're doing now, they're not seeing a breakthrough, or someone that just wants to expand their dynamics of healing, correct? Like
Yeah, yeah.
even
I
if
mean,
someone's perfectly healthy.
yeah, for sure. That's why I say you don't have to have your life right to get into this stuff. You
Yeah.
can, but it's not necessary. And for sure, my for a long time, I tried to run everyone through the same classes and the same trainings. I did that for a long time. That's what most people do. I found it doesn't work as well. I don't want you to spend time on something that's not relevant or important to you, right? That's why I say most of my students only get through 1 to 5% of my material. That's all they need. I had one of my clients, this was just before COVID, she bought every training program, book, manual course I offered, and 6 months of private sessions. It's like, wow, it was like a $12,000 package, everything, right? The whole enchilada. I'm like, oh my God, someone bought the whole enchilada. No one ever does that, right? It took us 3 privates and 1 training. She achieved her goal. She had spent 5 years and $250,000 on fertility treatments. Doctors told her, don't come back. This was such a big deal to her. She invested everything working with me. 3 weeks, she got pregnant, delivered a healthy baby. Now, again, I can't promise that result for everyone, but these are wonderful tools that can do amazing things. Try it, see if you like it. I don't mind. Watch a couple of my YouTube videos. If I'm super annoying, skip to the next teacher. No worries. I'll give a little tidbit for people to help you know if you're a good fit for me. I've been to a lot of New Agey seminars. They drive me crazy. They're so slow paced. Everyone has to share about this and that, and they say the same thing over and over, right? My seminars are like, here's how it works. Boom, clear explanation, hands-on, questions. Okay, next thing. I'm not going to teach you one thing. I'm going to teach you like 37 things. But we're not going to talk about it to death. I'm like, this is how it works. Try it. You got it. Great. Boom, next. If that sounds good to you, I'm a great teacher for you. Again, fast-paced, deep, thorough, detailed. If you're more of the give us a big hug and let everything be okay, that's cool. Probably not for me. No worries. Some of my good friends are like that, right? I got no problem with that. Just like some of my friends love country music. I'm a metalhead, thank you. I don't hate country music, just not my thing. Just doesn't get my blood pumping, right? Nothing personal. So yeah, try it, see if you like it. I'm not for everyone. But, the way I see it, if I can reach 1, 2, 3 people and make a difference in their life, then this is way more than worth it, isn't it?
Well, and I think you have a whole new dynamic of people that want to look at this from a more scientific standpoint, or want that more technical process and procedure breakdown, someone that's very skeptical or has that analytical mind and wants to approach it in this way, that might be the perfect fit for that person.
Yeah, I remember when Terry was teaching me healing, she goes, Brent, imagine yourself as a ball of light. I'm like, how big is the ball? She's like, I don't know. It's a ball of light. I'm like, no, Terry, how big is it? How bright is it? What color is the light? How high up over my head do I make the ball? Drove her nuts. But that's what an engineer does. Every detail spelled out. Mm-hmm. So I give a very thorough training because I don't want to give you the room to screw it up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when I give a training, I'm like, okay, if you're a ball of light, you're this size, you're this color, you're at this, like I give all the details. That's kind of the difference. And if you're not a person like that, I may not be right for you. If you're easily overwhelmed by too much information and data, no, I'm not you. I'm not for you. And that's cool, right? But if you love the knowledge and the learning and the figuring out, I can explain anything in metaphysics or spirituality, I think, about as well as anyone on the planet. And I always take it as a challenge. I want to get through to every single person. The deepest, most powerful concepts of awakening, of presence. And it's on me to find out how to reach you. Right? So the student doesn't put that burden on the teacher. That's the teacher's burden.
Mm-hmm.
I have a quick question, because I know we've already had you on for an hour. Do you speak about Merkabahs and sacred geometry?
I believe that ultimately the entire universe is nothing but frequency and geometry. Mm-hmm. There's not a huge amount of content directly in my material, but there's a little bit. But I think that is the substrate of reality, that essentially the universe is a big folded nothing. And what's the nothing made out of? Consciousness. And when the universe cooled and expanded, the nothing became something and created matter and energy. And it's really just a matter of, you can take the fundamental substrate of nothing, the empty space, and it has properties. It has density and measurable properties. That is you. We are the empty space, the void. And everything we experience around us in our lives is simply a holographic projection done through the mind. That's what the human mind and brain do. But ultimately, everything that you think is out there is on the inside. It's pretty crazy. If you remember the documentary, What the Bleep Do We Know? That was one of their great lines. There is no out there out there. Seems like it, doesn't it? Right? There's that out there, and there's that guy, and that guy, and that guy, and it's doing all these things to me. Nope, it's all inside you, believe it or not. This is why I say I want to show you how it works, right? A lot of life is basically, you showed up in hockey gear for a soccer game, and you're wondering why you're losing. No one showed you how to play the game. There's nothing wrong with you or your equipment. Just you've been playing the wrong game. Your parents didn't know either. They can't teach you something they don't know, right? Here we are. You know, took me 3 decades of my life before I discovered this. You know, that's why I say, if you want to go read all the same books and seminars and all that I did, go for it. It's going to be a 20-some year path, but you'll get there. Or, you know, talk to me and we'll see if we can get you there by next Tuesday. They both work. It's all good.
We really appreciate you coming on the show today. And
this is awesome to be here.
Yeah, I was very interested. I watched some of the videos that you had already because I wanted to know more, and I'm fascinated with it. So can you tell again, everyone, how they can reach you and what your social media, your website, it's going to be in the description. Yep. And also, whichever book you want to say that you recommend, tell us the name of it.
Sure. I would say, easiest thing, just go to any search engine, type in Brent Michael Phillips.
Right.
You'll find my website, my YouTube channel. The biggest things are the YouTube channel and the website. I do have, other social media channels, but most of my efforts on YouTube and the website. And watch some videos if you like my style. And I think there's some great videos there. I have a whole series on answering life's biggest questions. It's right there on YouTube for free. What happens after we die? What's the nature of God? It's like, I have videos for this. Just watch it, right?
Yeah.
If you like it, then I'll teach you even better stuff. Okay. Because everything I put on YouTube has to be safe. The things I teach people one-on-one, I have a lot more discretion.
And the name of your website is
awakeningdynamics.com. Yep.
It's awakenings-dynamics.com.
Just awaken. They both work.
Okay. Just wanted to be accurate.
I have a forwarder set up, but yes.
And then what's the name of the book that you would say, if you would say, like, go to see this, go look at this book?
I think the most accessible is the Formula for Miracles books.
Okay.
And if you want to look those up, they're on Amazon Kindle.
Okay.
Just go to Kindle or, Amazon or whatever, type in Brent Michael Phillips books, and they should come right up.
Great.
And again, if anyone has specific questions or you need my help going, hey, Brent, where do I start? Reach out to me. My email is support@awakeningdynamics.com. Just reach out to me. Let me know that you heard me on Mary and Michael's podcast, and I'll answer your questions. And I'm happy to get on the phone and talk to you for free to help find the right path. Perfect. No charge. No credit card. No, I will talk to you for free, but only if you're serious. Is that fair?
Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate you doing that with our audience.
Yeah, I'm busy. You're busy, right? But if you need my help, I'm there for you. No problem.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So anyone out there that wants to look into Brent Michael Phillips and the energy healing work he is doing, you can find him on YouTube. We will have all his social media contacts and information on our pages. We will have that under the video. So if you want to check out more about Brent Michael Phillips, look for any of the links, but you can find him and the energy healing work he does on YouTube and on his website. So thank you so much, Brent. We really appreciate you
Thank
being
you.
with us, explaining that process. And I think it's something that we're starting to see more and more people find intriguing and want to delve into. So
I would agree.
it's I think that market, we're only seeing the beginning of what's to come with it. But thank you so much for what you're doing. We really appreciate that work.
Been great to be here.
Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Brent.
Bye. Okay, that was interesting. I just didn't want to interrupt him, but we did have a bunch of comments. And we did have a comment right here about our upcoming event next Thursday, everyone.
All right.
And then, yeah, event going to be great. And then Suzanne says, so true. So that's good. I'm really, I thought that was interesting because it's a different way, and I mean, I'm probably more the woo-woo, but I also learned by some kind of process or strategy on how to be a healer. So there is techniques to it. So I'm curious, and I am going to research more about him, and I'm interested in the book. And so everyone out there, tonight we had Brent Michael Phillips, and he's a master healer technologist. And we have this event next Thursday. Michael's coming up to Westchester, New York, and it's going to be at the Pelham Manor Club, the Manor Club in Pelham, New York, and it's from 7 to 9:30. And you can go to our Two Psychics podcast page or Michael's page on Facebook, Eye of the Spirits. You can go to our websites, and we both mention this event. You can go to onthestage.com and buy your ticket. The ticket's $35. So everyone out there, why don't you come to New York next Thursday? I know we have holidays coming up. It'd be a great evening. We're going to have some free wine. You can get some water or a snack, and you can get entertained by us.
Free wine. Look at people should just show up just for the free wine, right?
Yes, for the free wine. Okay, so we won't be having a show next Thursday. We'll be doing this live event. So everyone out there, I hope you join us for Two Psychics.
Thank you for joining us. We hope to see you with us live next week at the Pelham Manor. It's going to be an awesome event. But Mary, have a great night. I will talk to you soon.
I love how you say Pelham Manor. It's Pelham Manor.
Pelham. It's my Jersey accent.
You don't even have a Jersey accent. I don't have a New York accent. All right, everyone. You can find Michael eyeofthespirits.com, Evidential Medium, Mary Amy, maryamyofficial.com, and we will see you next week at the Manor Club at 7 p.m. Join us. Bye.